What's up, guys? Julian here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some breakbeat techno, sort of like Luz1e style, false persona, SAAH, all that kind of stuff. As usual, you can get the full project file, samples, MIDI presets, every single thing from this video is available right at the top of the description for just $5. Definitely go grab that. It really helps support me. Plus, if you guys enjoy these videos, I really don't make a whole lot just off of YouTube, but with these templates, I'm able to keep going and keep bringing you guys new videos every single day, showing you styles and techniques that nobody has shown before on the internet. So, if you want me to continue doing this, definitely go grab that. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I think you'll enjoy this project a lot, and let's dive in. So, we're at 131 BPM. The first thing we have up here is actually this little atmospheric pad. So what's happening here is we're in the key of A. If you look at like the bass line, yeah, you can see it's mostly centered around A. But with this, I wanted to have something kind of like a little bit less like still like fitting into the melody of the track and into the key, but a bit more atmospheric. So it's literally just one note across 2 octaves. Like, I figured that was the clearest way to do that. And it's very dynamic, because if you turn off like all the reverb, right, so you can hear like, you get a nice rhythm out of that. That fits really nicely with the beat. So yeah, very simple thing. Like, you could probably do this honestly like on your first day with Ableton. I think this is really one of those sounds where it can be tempting to go and be like, alright, so let's use every note in the A minor scale now. But it's like, nah, just stick to that one note, focus more on making it rhythmic and just like very clear and simple. For the sound, it's made with Operator, so it's this FM sound where it's just 3 sine waves. You can see the second one's detuned, and the third one's detuned a little as well, and the second one's up in octave, so that's what kind of gives you that sound. We have a low-pass filter, and we also have this LFO here on the pitch, and that's what creates that, like, wow. It's just a nice way to give this some life. We have a little bit of chorus, a bit of reverb as well, and then a high-pass filter, and that is it for this atmospheric pad. Then we have kind of like this pad chords here. So these are really simple. Again, we're in the key of A minor, so it's literally just this G minor chord, A minor. And the idea is that it's supposed to sound a bit sampled. Like, it's supposed to sound like you literally just sampled one chord and then just like are playing that across 2 different notes, right? So that's why we used the same chord shape. Even though technically, like, if we're going from a musical standpoint, that would technically be right. But that gives you more of that, like, ravey, kind of crunchy feel. So then, for the sound here, it's actually these mellotron strings. So I have this high one with a bunch of reverb you can hear, and then this low one. Right, so just sample it out of the mellotron. That one's also going through a little bit of reverb, but it just has like a lot of character to it. The idea with this is like, you could never really get a sound like that. Like, if we just went and tried to use saw waves or square waves or like FM, it just would never have quite this much character. So this was a really good place to use a sample like this. And then I just have a high pass filter on the group to make sure it doesn't get in the way of the low one. And yeah, then we have this bass synth. It's a very simple bass line, right? It's just A sharp, and C. And really, it's about the rhythm. It's about like, the way that this is. And you hear that like when it jumps up to this note. It's really like interacting with the groove. And it's not just like you know, putting a bunch of random notes. It's like, how does this really like bounce off of everything else here? So then for the sound here, it's made using wavetable. We have 3 layers. So we've got this first one. So it's 2 saw waves here, and then we're using a bandpass filter as well as a low pass filter. And then what's happening is we have LFO1 on both filter frequencies. So that's what's giving you the 16th notes. But then also we have LFO2 on filter 2 on just the low pass. So what's happening there is that's a lot slower. So you can see now it's like 2 movements. Right, because the filter's like opening and closing slowly. But you're also getting the over top of that. And that's really what you want. I think if you're trying to make a sound like this, that's really gonna like take over this track and really be like, if you listen to this, like this is most of what you're hearing. Is this and the drums. If you really want it to be exciting, you want to try to have like multiple movements on the sound, so to speak. Like, don't just have like the one LFO, but try to bring the second one in and really make it have like some life. And then this just has a bit of unison. And then for the second layer, it's actually almost the same thing, except this one has no unison, and then it's a square wave instead of a saw wave for the first one. Also the saw wave, the second one's an octave up. And this you can hear, since there's no unison, it adds a lot of fatness and like fullness to it. And then this last one here is just kind of for like a little bit more texture. You can hear, so we're using this sparkle formant here, and then we're also using the white noise. And it's all the same stuff here, except we have an LFO on oscillator 1's position there. But yeah, literally the same thing for all 3 patches with the modulation. And that's the other thing too. If you're making layers like this, don't just make 3 random patches. The way I made this is I made this one, and I had already made all these little like modulations here, and then you just duplicate it. And then for the next one, keep that stuff so it's all the same, but now you can tweak the other stuff, and you can still have the same modulations across all 3 layers here. So yeah, once you have those 3 together, then it's going into this filter delay. So you know, that actually gives a lot of movement, like here when there's no note playing. You get that So the filter delay is really good for that. And you can, the thing is, like with something like this, you wouldn't want to use just like a random delay, because you would have a bunch of delay in the low end, which you don't want. You really just want this delay to be like a percussive high end thing. So the filter delay is very easy. You just take it and you can focus these into the high end. And then it won't mess up anywhere in the mix where you don't want it to be. And then the last thing we have on here is actually a multi-band distortion. So what I'm doing is I've got the highs, the mids, and then the lows. And we're treating those all the same. And if we turn this off, you can hear the sound's almost there. And then we bring it in. And there we go. It's that last little like boost on there. And that's really how you want to treat this. This isn't about like drastically changing the sound and trying to make it better when it's not that good coming out of the synth. It's just about taking a really good sound that's already really fat and full sounding, and then just adding that extra bit of crunch and fullness to it. And the secret to this is blending the distortion. You can see on both of these, the dry wet is only at like 20%. Like the second one, 29%. But yeah, like you're really not actually hearing that much of the distortion. But the little bit that you do hear makes a huge difference. And then we have, after this, the drums. And so the technique here is we have like these kind of like standard, you know, electro, break, techno drums. Right, like very fat and full sounding. And then I added these breakbeats on top, which kind of start and then stop. So you get like little break, and then the second one. And what's happening is, when you have those appear all of a sudden over top of all these, it adds something very nice to that. And I also think it's something with the style too. Like, I think these people aren't just trying to make like electro, and they're not just trying to make like 90s jungle breakbeat either, right? It's like kind of fusing the two styles together. So I think this is a really great way to do that, is have your like steady like 808 style drums, but then having the breakbeats kind of like jump in and out of the track to add some flavor over top of that. And you can see these just have high pass filters on them, very simple. But then for the actual like drum machine drums, so it's mostly just like 808 stuff, right? Like we have like this fat 808 kick. And what's happening is I'm actually blending this drum bus on here. You can see it's only at 36%, but here's without it. And then with it. And you can see with it, you don't need that much, right? Just having that 36% is enough to make this really fat and really hard hitting in the mix. So we've got that. And then I've got the snare, which same deal. Just blending in a little bit of drum bus, got some reverb on that. This one is like an 808 snare. And then this punchy clap layered over top of it. And the reason why we're making such an effort to like blend the dry wet on the drum bus rather than just have it like kind of how it is, like at 100%, is because listen to what happens when we put this at 100%. Like, it's just too crunchy. Like, you do get a little bit more punch out of that, but it's really not, like, it's kind of like law of diminishing returns. Like, it's not that much more punch. This is still plenty punchy at this setting, and it's not going to mess up your sound. It's just going to add something to it. And yeah, and then we have these 808 hi-hats, like a closed one and then an open one, and then also have this little percussion. Which you'll notice, even though that's really subtle, I made sure that you get the breakbeat, and then the percussion, and then another breakbeat. Like, this never plays at the same time as the breakbeats, because you wouldn't hear it. Like, you just wouldn't be able to tell this is happening. Like, and yeah, so that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, literally everything is available right at the top of the description. If I've helped you, if you guys enjoy these videos, definitely go grab this. It's gonna help support me so much more than you could ever even know. Plus, you're gonna support yourself making your best music, because this is a really solid template that will take you to the next level. Thank you so much for everybody for the support, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.